One of the things I hear a lot in clinic is, Doc, the food noise is coming back, or my hunger is coming back. Do I need to increase the dose? A lot of time, that question comes around medications like Zepbound, which are GLP medications, or Wegovy, because people finally get that relief. Things are getting quieter when it comes to their hunger, and when they feel it again, it scares them. They think something is wrong, that they're sliding backwards, that the medication stopped working. And sometimes the dose does need to be changed. I'm not against medications. I prescribe it all the time. I've seen it help a lot of people. But before I jump straight to, okay, let's go up, I usually want to slow down the conversation and ask a simpler question. What is your body trying to tell you today or yesterday? Because hunger is not the enemy. I thought it was for the longest time. Hunger is a signal, and it feels louder today than it did yesterday. That usually means something changed around your lifestyle or your routine. Maybe you skipped meals because you weren't thinking about food. Maybe you had coffee and stayed busy and told yourself, I'll eat later. Maybe you drank almost nothing all day and your body feels off. Maybe you're exercising more and didn't really notice how much liquids, how much calories you burned. Or maybe yesterday was just chaotic and today your system is catching up. Maybe you're just behind. That word behind really matters. A lot of people think hunger means I need to shut this down fast. But a lot of the time, hunger means you missed me earlier. That's the part people don't realize. By the time many people clearly feel hungry, especially if they're on an appetite suppressing medication or they've been overriding their body for a long time, they may already be way behind on what they needed an hour or two ago. So the body or the mind turns the volume up. That's not failure. That's not weakness. That's your body doing its job. I think part of the reason why hunger feels so emotional for people is because we made it mean so much. We turned it into a moral issue. We act like hunger means we're doing something wrong or we're less disciplined. We need to tighten up. But hunger was never created to embarrass you. Hunger was created for survival. Food was created for survival. Food is not the enemy. We just turn it into one. And the food industry, especially in America, hasn't helped. Let's be honest about that. The food industry does not care about your long term health. It cares about keeping your attention and keeping their business alive, which is fine. I totally understand. It's a business. It wants food to be easy, fast, rewarding, and hard to stop. That doesn't mean food is evil. It means you just have to understand the environment you live in. You have to understand that your body is trying to survive in a world where food is everywhere. Stress is constant, and most people are running on fumes. So when hunger shows up, I don't want people panicking. I want them to start getting curious and asking questions. Not why is the food noise back in this fearful way? More like, what changed today? Did I skip breakfast? Did I not have enough protein? Did I not have enough fluids? Did I sleep poorly? Was I more stressed than usual? Did I do more than I realized? Am I actually hungry or am I dry, tired, overstimulated, or just off my routine? That's a very different conversation. And it matters because if you don't slow down and ask why, you'll keep treating every hunger signal like an emergency. You keep thinking the answer is always more medication, more control, more silence. But silence is not the goal. Understanding is. Let me make this very simple. Food has jobs. Protein helps build and repair. It protects muscle. It helps you stay full longer. It steadies the day. Carbohydrates give you energy. Your brain uses them. Your muscles uses them. They're not the villain. people made them out to be. In the right amount, at the right time, they help you function. Fat helps with satisfaction. It slows things down a little. It helps meals actually feel like meals instead of something that disappears and leaves you hungry an hour later. Fluids keep the whole system moving: blood flow, digestion, energy, attention, temperature control. All of it depends on fluids. So when hunger shows up, your body may be asking for one of those things or a combination of them. And that's why I want people to stop talking about hunger like it's an evil force they need to fight off. A better question is this: does my body need fuel right now for the next hour or two or for the next part of my day? That's it. Not, am I allowed to eat? Not, did I earn this? Just, does my body need fuel right now? That's a calmer question, a smarter one too. Because if you ask that honestly, a lot of the time the answer becomes pretty clear. If you had coffee, maybe half a lunch and almost no water, and now it's 4 p.m., and you can't stop thinking about chips or sweets, the problem probably isn't that your body betrayed you. The problem is that your body has been trying to get your attention for hours, and now it's tired of being polite. And I want to say this too, because this is where shame sneaks in. Some people think, well, I'm on medication, so I shouldn't be hungry. That's not how I want people to think about it. Medications can quiet hunger through mechanisms which I'll explain later in other episodes. They can reduce the food noise, they can help with the fullness, they can make it easier to hear your body instead of feeling like it's yelling at you all day. That's great, but the shot doesn't eat breakfast for you. It doesn't drink water for you. It doesn't keep your day steady for you. It gives you space. What you do with that space still matters. So if you're on something like Zepbound and one day hunger feels stronger, don't immediately decide the whole thing failed. Look at the day, look at your routine. Did you eat on time? Did you have enough protein? Did you drink enough fluids? Did you sleep? Were you more active? Were you stressed out of your mind? Were you off because of something that started yesterday, not today? That's the kind of thinking that actually helps people in long term. Because the truth is, people don't usually get into trouble from hunger alone. They get into trouble when hunger gets delayed, ignored, moralized, and then finally shows up very loud. That's when it turns into urgency. That's when people say they feel out of control. That's when the shame jumps in and says, see, I knew this would happen. But that's not a character problem. That's a signal that got missed until it became hard to ignore. And this is where I think people need to give themselves a break. We have spent years teaching ourselves to fear the very thing that's supposed to help us survive. Hunger is not trying to ruin your life. Hunger is your body saying, hey, I need something here. Now, does that mean every urge is true hunger? No. Sometimes what feels like hunger is thirst. Sometimes it's stress. Sometimes it's emotional depletion. Sometimes it's just being tired and wanting relief. That's why I like to pause. Not a long, dramatic pause, just enough space to ask, what do I actually need right now? Sometimes the answer is a real meal. Sometimes it's water first, sometimes it's protein because you've been underdoing that all day. And sometimes it's just carbs because your brain and your body are behind on fuel, or all the above, as I mentioned before. But once you stop making hunger your enemy, you can respond to it without panic. And that changes the whole relationship with food because now food stops being something you turn into a fight every day. It goes back to being what it's supposed to be: fuel, support, stability. That's one of the biggest shifts I've seen in patients who finally started doing well in my own life. It's not that they become perfect, it's that food becomes less dramatic in their lives. Hunger becomes less scary They stop asking, how do I shut this down? And they start asking, how do I support the system, their system, before it gets loud? That is such a different life than living in fear of your own appetite. And when people start doing that, they start noticing something else. Hunger is not the only signal that gets ignored, fatigue does. In fact, hunger and tiredness are often traveling together. A lot of people aren't just hungry, they're tired, underrested, underhydrated, overstimulated, and they're trying to figure out why everything else is harder than it should. That's where we're going next in the next episode, because once you stop fearing hunger, the next question usually shows up pretty fast. Why am I tired all the time? And a lot of the time, the answer is not laziness, it's overload. And we're going to slow that down in episode 5. I'll see you there.